I'm in your corner, friend. I'm in your corner.
My name's Jayda, and I am, how old am I? 27. I turn 28 next month. I have twin 5-year-olds and then a baby, and he's 9 months old. How did I end up here? I don't know. I am a nurse, an oncology nurse. So I deal with cancer patients. I deal with a lot of hematology patients, so sickle cell patients. But really and truly, like, the reason I got into nursing was to deal with perinatal care. So I am like so passionate about women's health. Women's health in the Virgin Islands is like specifically my niche. It's like the thing that I want to be doing so much. I know that my passion and my purpose are rooted in motherhood and rooted in helping women, nursing, their healthcare, all of the medical side of that. So with twins though, like I was the little girl who was like, one doll, not gonna cut it. I need two of them. And I used to take like hair ties for your hair and tie together strollers and be like, it's a double stroller. So I was probably like 8 weeks pregnant and had already picked out which stroller I was going to get. As soon as I found out it was twins, I was like, okay, let's go. I had everything by the time I was 3 months pregnant. So my birthing experience was that I went up to the States because they told me down here, like, you're going to get a C-section. You're not going to have much say in it. And the first baby A, is probably not going to make it. And I was like, what? Like, this sounds terrible. And it was my passion. So everything I was learning in nursing school, because I was still in nursing school, everything I was learning in nursing school was contradicting what I was being told. And everything I already knew, being that, midwifery was my passion, I was like, this is contradicting everything. And I would just cry every time I left the doctor's office. I'd be, on the phone and just be like, oh my goodness, this is what they're saying this time. It was really difficult. So when I went to the States, it's actually for spring break, and I went to the doctor there and I was like, listen, I don't want an episiotomy. I don't want Pitocin. I don't want an epidural. I want a natural twin pregnancy, natural twin birth. And I just want to do it the way I want to do it. And he was like, that's so cool. I love that. And I was like, wait, a doctor telling me that I can have autonomy in my birth? And he was like, let's do it. And so it was kind of like, okay, this is like the right place for me. This is where I should stay. So I stayed in Las Vegas, had the twins, natural birth. Second one came breech. There were literally nurses who left my birth. They were like, I'm not going to be held liable. The doctor decided that he's going to give breech birth in the OR, because with twins, you have to give birth in an OR. So the second baby was like transverse underneath my ribs. And the doctor was like, he's not coming down. I have to rupture his amniotic fluid and I have to pull him down. And I was like, what? And he's like, this is why we're doing that. This is why we did the epidural. So get ready. And he went up and pulled him down. And he flipped, he came butt first. And they tried to turn him. And they're like, he's already basically crowning, but it's his butt. And my mom was there. I was like, take pictures of everything. So she was like taking pictures. There's like these pictures of like literally Stefan's butt. And Stefan's arm was like over his head like this. So his arm actually broke giving birth, and he came out and he didn't breathe at first, and it was like all this trauma and whatever. There were nurses who were like, see, I didn't want to be part of this, and everything was fine. And their little bones are so mushy, so they just put like a little net on him and his arm was fixed and everything. It could have been considered a traumatic birth, but I know that if I had gone to someone else, they wouldn't have had the experience to be able to give me the birth that I wanted. So I was so grateful. Honestly, like one of the best experiences of my life. As crazy as that sounds.
How did your second birth differ from your first?
I decided, I was like, I'm just going to go to the States. I'm just going to do it again. Flew to Las Vegas, got to my mom. And then I was like, we're probably going to be, early. I'm not going to go to 40 weeks. He went to 41 weeks. Like I was like overdue. 41 weeks. And I woke up and I was like, I think like I have like diarrhea. I had prepared myself. I had been eating dates, raspberry leaf tea. I was doing it all. I was doing the squats. I was doing the perineal massage, candles lit, listening to hypnobirthing, all these kind of things. I was just like, yes, I'm going to prepare myself. When the day came, it was like 7:00 in the morning. And I was like, oh, like I need to use the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. Nothing. And I was like, what is going on? I went back to sleep and I finally woke up and it was 8:11 and I was like, I think I'm in labor. This is not something I ate. I finally just like yelled for Keanu and I was like, Keanu, like, this is it. Like, get up, get ready. We're going to the hospital in a second. I woke my mom up and she started timing my contractions and she was like, they're on top of each other. Like, we need to get to the hospital now. And my husband was in the shower because Dominicans take years to get ready. And I was like, okay, let's go. Like, we gotta go. And I have all the bags packed, and you're really ready to go to the hospital. Like, you have the bags packed, you have the things, like you're okay, grab and go. Every time I would like inch forward, I would have a contraction, walk a little bit more, have a contraction. I was like, this is weird. Because with the twins, I was in labor for 24 hours. So we're heading to the hospital, and I knew I didn't want an epidural. I didn't want any of the things. We're driving into the emergency room like entrance. And I said, nah, I can't do this for 6 hours. Like, this isn't going to happen. My husband pulls up, and I was like, get the wheelchair. I can't walk. He's like, are you serious? I wasn't strapped in. I was like turned around in the seat of the car with like my knees up, just like this baby could come any minute. And so he put me in the wheelchair, left my phone, left my purse, left the car running, took me up to the maternity ward, basically dropped me off. They threw me in a bed. He went back down, and they're like, oh, you're 10 centimeters dilated. Let's go. I had been in labor for an hour. I was like, what? They're in the hallway, like pushing the triage bed into the labor and delivery room. And they were like, did you want an epidural? And I was like, isn't it too late for that? Like, if I'm 10 centimeters dilated, why would I want that? And she was like, if you want one, we have to give it to you right here, right now. And I was like, just keep going. Like, just why did you stop? Like, go. So I told them, like, I want my husband to know where I am, because he's going to come back upstairs and be like, where'd she go? And he comes in, and he knew like the pressure point that was really aching on me and how to like relieve that. And I was on my side, and the doctor just came in and sat down, and she was like, okay, can you turn over? And I'm like, contractions on top of each other, baby's crowning, and she's like, tell me when you want to push. She never got up. She never stood up. She was sitting in the corner the whole time. I didn't have the same experience because it was whoever was on call. It wasn't the experience that I had with my previous doctor, where he was around and he would check in every hour and whatever. It wasn't that this time. And she was like, you need to turn over. And I was like, just give me a peanut ball to put between my legs, because I'm pushing right now. And she's like, you're pushing, flip her over. And so they just like flew me over, and I'm on my back now, and baby comes out. And they tell my husband, like, okay, come see the baby come out. And there was a nurse on my side, and he was here. And he went to walk around, and the baby was on my chest. And he was like, what the, like, oh my gosh, it was so quick. And we had been in the hospital for 27 minutes between the time we got to the ER to the time the baby was born. So very different experience, but I knew, like, okay, as soon as I had my first contraction and I realized I was in labor, I was smiling. I was like, yes! Like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And that's where I think hypnobirthing, like actually reading about hypnobirthing, listening to hypnobirthing. I spoke to midwives, and they were like, the moms who hypnobirth, I'm like, you're not even in labor. And then the moms who don't hypnobirth, they're overcome with fear, and they're overcome with anxiety. And then we have to push the Pitocin because they're causing their body not to push. And there was a time where I was like, I could feel him like ripping, and they were like, you need to push him right now because his heart rate's going down. And I was like, I've been here for 10 minutes. Like, there's no heart. If I all of a sudden have been in labor for an hour and his heart rate starts to drop, call me then. But like, I've been here for a few moments, so I'm not worried. I was like, no, I'm not ready, because I felt that I was going to begin to tear. And I stopped, and I kind of like froze, and I was like, he went back up. Like, he basically stuck back up, because I was like afraid. I was like, no, it's going to tear, and it was hurting too much. And I kind of breathed through it and then pushed him, and he just came out so easily with no tears, no lacerations, nothing. And it was because I was so able to just like drown everything out that was going on, calm myself down, listen to my body. Because when you feel that tearing, like, you're afraid, but you're like, okay, they're telling me to push, and you push him out, it's going to be a different experience. So I was very in tune this time.
If you have any other questions for why you're here, I don't think you need me to explain to you.
I found out I was pregnant, and I was too afraid to watch baby B's birth. At first I was like, no, I'm not getting it. I can't watch this labor, because I was like, it's going to give me anxiety, and I'm going to be like, what's my labor going to be like? So I kind of like took the time to like mentally prepare myself for like weeks. But I was like, I just found out I'm pregnant, and what if I freak myself out? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it now, because you had a natural labor and I had an epidural with the twins. So I was like, what if it's crazy? What if she's screaming for like an hour, and I just watch her scream for an hour? And I thought about recording, Shiloh's birth, but my husband didn't get one photo. He came so quick, and my phone was in the car. I didn't have my phone for 3 hours after he was born. I couldn't even call people and be like, he's here. Nothing.
You are a mom of three, a wife, you have a whole career, and you're still passionate about birth and prenatal care. How are you balancing all of that?
Right now, I'm doing my MBA. I'm doing my master's in business administration. What I want to do in my career, I think it's really important to have. With motherhood, I've realized like all the things that I've learned in management transfer over to motherhood. So creating a schedule, project management, dealing with multiple schedules and managing multiple people and managing where they need to go. You have to take a course on leadership. And I'm like, what's motherhood? So I think that the balance that I find is like, I will honestly make a list at the beginning of the week, and my to-do list is the same every week, right? I gotta wash the diapers on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Gotta wash the clothes on Tuesday and Thursday. I have a specific schedule and a specific structure for each of the routines in my life. And I've had that since, nursing school and being like a single mom and having to, okay, what am I doing? I need to stay up till 2 a.m. to study. That means I need to drink coffee at 4 p.m. Like I had those structures where I was like, I know I need to do this in order to do this. And so I had these like almost dominoes that I created for myself. And now in business, I'm like, it's the same thing. I use iCal for everything. And it's like my classwork, my actual work, my social calendar. Marriage has its own tab. And so I can close off everything else and actually look at my week and just have marriage. And I'm like, did I schedule time for a date night? For, we're going to get in bed early and we're going to, read the word together for X amount of time and then fall asleep early. And did I do that this week? And if I don't set the time for it, it's not going to happen. And in order to do that, you really have to have some management skills. I think motherhood is management more than anything.
How do you feel about motherhood? What isn't talked about enough? So let's talk about it.
I think the management side, like I mentioned before, is not talked about enough. And I think the preparation for birth, the prenatal care. Prenatal care is often like broken down to what's your birth plan and what kind of prenatal vitamins are you going to pick out? And everyone's like, oh, well, we don't talk enough about C-section recovery. We do. I think we do. I think there's a lot of C-section recovery material, but there's not enough C-section prevention material. And it's like C-section isn't this thing that's like horrible. It happens. And it happens for a reason. It happens for this health and safety of the mother. But are you refusing to take Pitocin because you've only been in labor for an hour? Are we talking about that? Are we telling women, that your body is naturally producing oxytocin? And once you get the epidural, then your body is going to slow down the production of oxytocin. So you got the epidural and now your labor slowed down and now we need to speed it up. So we made this drug that made you slow down. So we made this drug that made you speed up. And now the pressure, you're not feeling it because you got the epidural, but the baby is feeling more oxytocin than is natural because you got the Pitocin. And it's like, wait, what? Hold up. I didn't agree to slow down my labor and then to speed up my labor and then to cause my baby's heart rate to decrease. And now we need to go into an emergency situation because of all the drugs they pumped on me. And it's like, where's the knowledge in that? You don't teach women how to manage a schedule and time management of 6 different people because they have, 4 kids. And you want to put this kid in piano and you want to put this kid in karate and you want to put this kid in soccer and you want to put this kid in swimming. That's my week. Like that's just my week. And my kids have 2 moms and 2 dads. The twins have 2 moms and 2 dads. And so there's a group chat where I'm like, isn't it funny how I forgot the karate uniform, but here I am. Everyone thinks that I have everything balanced and under control. Ha ha. Like, go to work and find the coffee in the microwave from yesterday. And I'm like, nah, that was me too. Like, I don't have everything balanced, but why are we not teaching that balance? Why are we not teaching time management and how to get those things done? We're telling women that they're going to be in the middle of the night with a baby crying. I mean, that's the easy part. I'm like, okay, yeah, just here you go. Keep sleeping. Don't wake up. I'm not ready. No. Oh, you need a new diaper. Shit, now I got to get up. Like, there's so much more of the management side that we're not sitting here going, okay, women, let's systemize your laundry. Like, where did home ec go?
What do you want to say would be your contribution? What do you want to help mom?
So something that I'm working on right now is real birth knowledge, which has been something that I worked on in 2020 during COVID, creating a space for women to have knowledge about birth from a vulnerable mom, get into other people's birth stories, and see what information is missing in order to provide that information. Long-term, part of my goal is to offer prenatal classes on island in person. I love the idea of having things virtually, but it's just, for some people, it's not realistic. And having a space in St. Thomas, in St. Croix, in St. John, where women can be like, I need to know more.
We can find you and how we can connect with you.
Okay, so my Instagram is Jayda__Bryan, Bryan.
And I'm never gonna let you down.